This is Tanara Kuranov, your friendly neighborhood gamer mouse, and this is Slumberland. This is the house of Glider Pro. If you got it when it was a shareware game, this was the only house you had, and if you got the CD version, this was the biggest house that you had. Spans, give or take, 400 rooms. And yeah, I posted some speed runs of this particular house of Slumberland, because it is, like I said, the main house. It is the house of Glider Pro. But this is going to give you an idea of what it looks like the first time completing it. I think I decided to have the music on, because otherwise it would be kind of bland. And yeah, obviously this is going to take a lot longer, but definitely have a lot more points. And the house obviously doesn't start off very tricky at first, so there's not a whole lot to comment on. I think that switch there turns off the toaster up there, which is of marginal importance. You can easily skip the basement section if you want to, but there's some bonuses down here, so I'm not sure what a maximum score on Slumberland looks like exactly. Like I said, this isn't really a optimized score-wise. I want to hit that switch, there's a paper shredder above that light switch there. Of course, that means I didn't really need to hit it, but you know. Plenty of points down here, though. Of course, points don't really do anything for you in Glider Pro aside from bragging rights. You don't get points for, like, destroying enemies or anything like that, so your score in Glider Pro is just how much of the stuff you manage to collect in the house, basically. So it kind of is something of a measure of skill in Glider Pro, at least. So going for a high score in a house in these games isn't just grinding out a score, it is actually doing the house well, or at least knowing where the secrets are. Which, even though I've played through this house quite a bit, I would bet that I have not found all the secrets, or at least not all in one run. That would be an interesting run to do, try and collect everything in Slumberland. And actually you get like 100 points for each room you visit too, so you'd have to visit like as many rooms as possible. Even stuff that's generally completely pointless. Because I mean, I guess it's not pointless, you know. Not in the score sense anyway. Yeah, it's a bad joke. That controls that paper shredder there, so you would want to leave that switch down there off. Also, in case you're wondering, yes, the calendar is tied to the actual date, so this footage is a few months old. I'm catching up on the Glider Pro backlog. Although the clocks, I can't really say whether the time is AM or PM, so you got me whether this is a completely normal time of day or, I mean, it could be, well, actually, 6:30 is kind of a weird time for me anyways. Or no, I guess 7:30. Either I was up really late or really early if it's the morning, or if it's 7:30 in the afternoon or evening, that would be normal. So who knows? I can't remember if the digital clocks are 24-hour or not off the top of my head. Kind of hard to tell from this footage. That rubber band can be tricky. There's the first star. Getting this far isn't too tricky. And I think going out that window on the side just makes you go back down to earlier in the house. So that's why I didn't take it. The windows don't kill you, so that's always good. I mean, I remember at least getting the first star way back when as a kid, so the rest of the house after that would give me trouble. I think the farthest I made it is the sewer section, and that place is a maze, so it's always bound to give a little bit of trouble. Because everybody loves sewer levels. Even in Glider Pro, the video game constant is there. The sewer level sucks. Like I say, mostly just because it's a giant maze. So you never have any clue where you're going. Yeah, I'll tell you memorize it and then just blow your way through it. And even then, there's probably secrets you're missing in there or something. Who knows? I suppose you could always look at it in the house editor and see. I mean, there are ways to unlock those things, so you could, in fact, you know, cheat and figure out what all's in the house. Sometimes it feels like it's the only way to figure out some of the secrets, especially in custom houses. It's also funny how many custom house makers seem to leave their houses unlocked. It's strange. I'm not quite sure why I decided to try and go back on that Switch. Must have decided halfway through, like, never mind, I'm not going to be visiting this room again. As far as, like, attempts on this goes, well, I don't know how accurate it is, because it's not completely blind, I guess. But I want to say it took somewhere around 20 attempts and at least a couple of hours to finally get a run that went all the way through the house. But keep in mind, I also played this way back when, but I usually didn't get terribly far in it. I think the sewers is like the halfway point, I want to say. So I love where the houses hide the points sometimes. Oh, okay. That was weird. What about theoretically, like in the house editor, you could do things like turn off the fish or the bouncing of basketballs? Like with Davis Station. That was an example of what I already did that where you could turn off the basketballs, which is just silly. Also, fun fact, yeah, how Glider 4 feels a lot more random than Glider Pro as far as enemies and stuff goes. In Glider Pro, you specify the... I wonder if you can even get that last clock. But you specify the... What? I'm sorry. You specify the spawn points of enemies in Glider Pro, whereas in Glider 4 you just specify the type of enemy that spawns and how many of them. That's it. It's weird. That's all you could specify, and that's why the enemy spawns in that always seem really random, because they are. I'd really prefer if the phone did not buzz at me, thanks. I always forget something. I'm not sure which switch that paper shredder links to, so I assume one of those two over there. I think the game tries to keep you from getting stuck in a feedback loop there. And that was lucky on that outlet. Yeah, that side's basically just a bonus room. You don't even have to visit that one. But especially when you're doing like a first playthrough of the house, you want all the bonuses you can get. And if you're a normal person who isn't doing speed running, the score is always good to have. And that's the second star. I also remember getting that one way back when. But it was like an accomplishment getting that far. Kind of sounds sad now, but I guess I was kind of sad that getting like a third of the way through the house was an accomplishment. Getting past Slumberland as a kid felt like some sort of like Herculean feat. Like if I defeated Slumberland, then I would be like the king of Glider Pro or something. Little did I know, there were even harder houses out there. Like... Where's the downdraft? Ow, jeez. That room likes to throw you around. Yeah, there's always things like Leviathan, which, we'll get there eventually, but given my, insistence on getting through these houses in one go, basically I want to actually end up on the high score table or something. Because the way this works, the way Glider Pro works, if you don't already know, is you can... I'm not sure why I decided to do that. Points, I guess. But if you can save in a house, but if you're loading from a save game, you do not get your high score posted. It will not save it on the list. Which means you can practice stuff later in a house with like save files or something. But I'm still not sure if that bear actually does anything. It might just be sparkly for reasons. But yeah, the only way you get a high score post on there is playing it from the beginning. You gotta get through the house in one run, in one go. No save files, no save stating this, no save scumming. You know, like the list of very similar high scores I got in Beyond Dark Castle, or Dark Castle for that matter. That game has no such constraints, and you can grind enemies for score, so high score is kind of pointless in the Dark Castle games. That's why I like how Glider Pro handled things so much. it handled the whole score thing very well. There's so many little things that I think Glider Pro did very well. It's like one of those things where Glider 4 was good, but Glider Pro took all the good things about 4 and polished it up. There's probably a reason that Glider Pro got the huge housemaking community around it. Like, you'll find Glider 4 houses, you'll find custom stuff, but the huge amount of houses, the cooperative collaborations, the e-zines, all of that stuff, that didn't really happen until Pro. And I'm kind of sad that I was a bit young for that and missed out on a lot of that. Because it seems like it would have been great fun to be involved in. Not that there's anything stopping me from making stuff now, but I don't know who would play it now. I feel like I'm the only one on a quest to play all of these these old houses. It's kind of like been my side quest lately, if you will, to play through all the houses I can find. Which thankfully there's at least a couple of very good archives for that. The one on the Macintosh Garden is pretty good and easy to get started on. The Glider Pro CD that has the it has some of the e-zines too, things like that. So if you want to get started on playing Glider Pro and all that sort of stuff, yeah, the Garden has like a ready-made disc full of stuff. And there's a website out there that has a very, very large collection of houses as well. It might even have a bunch of stuff that I've never seen on any of the other archives before, so you kind of have to dig slightly for it, so I might link that in the description or something. But like, the guy makes his own software now and stuff, but the archive is still on his site. It's just like one big giant zip file. It's not exactly terribly organized, but I'm thankful for the fact it's at least there. Because stuff like the Glider Pro Village is shutting down in about half a year. I'm guessing the hosting is gonna run out, is what I guess is happening to it. So if you want to visit that, I mean, yeah. There's a shelf there, yeah, like that. Yeah, it's kind of sad, like a lot of the sites for this sort of thing are kind of just slowly fading away, assuming they haven't gone already. It's like one of those things where I wish I could have been there for it. I mean, obviously it's nothing lasts forever, but I kind of just missed it entirely, and now I'm here exploring it all, like 20 years later. I realize I'm not actually commenting a whole terribly lot on the house. I'm kind of just reminiscing at this point. But it's one of those things where it's like you're a kid at the time and you don't realize, what? You don't really realize what you missed out on until later. Yeah, there was probably something there. You just had to enter the room from higher and hit the grease. But then I think I was just focusing on completing the house when I was doing this, so... I might have to, like, do a... Now that I'm better at the house, maybe like a complete exploratory, venture into Slumberland is not off the table, so... Hey, that's something I can do later. Maybe with some of the other custom houses too, but some of the custom houses are really hard to 100%. Nemo's Market is a good example of one of those, but I think there's not really much in the way of secret rooms to that one, but we'll get to that one later. I have footage for it, but there's quite a few custom houses I have footage for, but haven't really got to because I just don't have a huge amount of time to record stuff yet. Hopefully about 2 or 3 months I'll have a place to call my own that'll be like quiet, not have 7 other people in it. That'd be great. Like maybe one other person. Somebody will know that, hey, I'm doing stuff here, like let me have some quiet, do my thing. Yeah. That'll be nice. At least that's kind of on the timetable in the near future. Yeah. Love the title of this room. Hope you have a battery. Like, boy, I hope so too. Otherwise, you're kind of out of luck on that room. And we have terrible Carmen Sandiego-esque level puns for that room. The Mac Plus has no fan. There were fan add-ons for the old Macs, but no, it did not come with one built in. That much is true. That restock on the foil is... It's also really nice on the speedrun. You get to this point and it's just like, foil. Yes. Foil. Ow. Ow. Points. Maybe I thought there was points in the fuse box. You never know where points are on a lot of these glider houses. Because you can put points anywhere. Like... What's this? Oh, I'm bad. I'm trash, don't mind me. Yep, got a whole other section of the sewers here. Although it's a very linear section, so... Yeah. That's just a mean trick there. So just a detour with like an extra life in it. Once again, like I say, the more rooms you visit, the more points you get. I assume with the bonus rooms, maybe a score of 100,000 is possible. I don't know. I don't know what amounts of bonus points there are laying around. And the stars are worth points too, you know. Or maybe a score of 100,000 is relatively easy. I'm not sure. The last little while I was playing this house, it wasn't really for score, so, you know. meant to post this like quite a while ago, honestly, but it's a very tight fit on those last two flames. It's very easy to burn yourself on those. Very, very easy. What's with those psychedelic bricks? This is a very weird basement section. I wonder if that's a... I don't know if that's a custom graphic for Slumberland. Because obviously you have a... Ow, Jesus. This is the Mac, after all. You have a resource fork to work with, and you can stick custom graphics and stuff in there. It's quite common, especially for bigger Glider Pro house projects. Ew. Ah. Ouch. There goes all the foil. Ugh. Bonus balloon ride. I mean, if you want to think of it as a bonus, I guess. Like, ugh. Somehow I ended up back on that shelf. The game actually showed a little leniency there. Jeez. Yeah, that's annoying. Ugh. Oh, the toaster trash can over there with the room name Don't Ask, Just Get Out. Wow. Ouch. You don't even have to tip over the grease, but, you know, you want those extra bonus points. Which, if you're playing these normally, I assume you do, so... Also, this should give you an idea of just how many lives the house gives you when you really get going on it and you're doing... And you get to know the house, you can rack up a bunch of extra lives, so... I don't know why I didn't try going the other way, but... There's probably some bonus off to the left, but I imagine it's tricky to activate. Once again, something I'll have to do more exploratory work on there. It's like, Glider's the type of thing where you can complete the house, but there's still much more you can do with it. There's still much more you can do once you really get to know a house. And you need to hit those switches, so you really have no choice but to lose a life there. And once we get to the segment, I will explain what the switches are, what they're used for. Also, yeah, don't take that little clock. It'll make all the other clocks disappear. That's why that room name is Don't Take the Bait. And that's another switch you have to hit. Once again, I'll explain it in a moment. Whoops. Yeah, those toasters. You have to turn all the toasters off. And we hit 2 of the switches. And that, I believe, is the 3rd one. That's looking like, yeah, that's almost, yeah, 100,000 points isn't too bad on this house. I don't know what I was talking about earlier. And there's 100,000. And I believe that's the 4th toaster switch, although I had only gotten this far once, so before this I had messed up beating the house in a really stupid way, just trying to get like, you know, 100, 200 more points visiting some extra rooms on the very last portion. I might show that off at the end, as embarrassing as it is. Just so you can all laugh at me. Yeah. I'm almost certain you can rubber band that grease canister if you really line it up properly, but it's tricky. Then you hit that thermometer there, and it'll let you go up there, which will let you turn on the vent to leave the house. Guess there's no bonus points on that lamp. Those grease canisters will eventually tip over on their own. You can hit them with rubber bands to make this portion faster, but that was weird. It kind of made that 500 points just float there on that one. Yeah, after you've done all that, then the vent is activated to leave the house. That one. Now what I'm doing. So I almost did it again there. I got stuck on a loop there the last time where I visited the adjacent room and then I couldn't escape. And that is the last star. You can actually accidentally miss the star in the sewers, and if you do that, I don't think you can go back for it again, so it is possible to render the house unwinnable. But that is Slumberland. It is quite the house. And yeah, you'll want more options, but for being the first house for Glider Pro, it's not a bad thing to have, so that was the reaction to the last time I failed the house. What did I type in here? Is that it? Or did I find something to add at the end? Heh. I found something. And yeah, see, there's like about 400 rooms in there, and there's like 150 or so. Granted, who knows if some of them are even accessible, because you make boundary rooms for a house, so that the surrounding rooms don't just have outer space in them, they actually have sky or some other surroundings for when you're playing with the 9-room display mode and bigger monitors and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how much of the 400 rooms are accessible, but yeah, that was Slumberland. And that would say what more of a first-time playthrough of Slumberland looks like. So this is Tanara Kuranov signing off. Until next time.